All right, so I'm I'm going left. You can also go right, and it switchbacks up this hill. There's two lakes up in that basin up there. The lower one has brook trout and rainbows. The upper one has cutthroats that is stocked on a 8-year schedule, something like that. Would have 6-year-olds in it this year. Okay, it's Saturday, June 14th, 2025. I'm in the Pintlers, kind of over by Georgetown Lake. I'm probably three miles in, maybe 3.5 in on the trail going to one of my favorite lakes. Yeah, this is my second day hike this year, and thought I'd steal away. I'm home for a couple weeks. Thought I'd steal away for a quick day hike fishing trip up here. This lake, I avoided it for a lot of years, thinking it was too low elevation, too accessible. Finally fished it in August of 2023, and it quickly became my favorite lake. I fished it 5 times in August and September of that year. It's been 21 months since I've been in here. So it's June, and it fished well late in the season. We'll see how it does early in the season. I think I've got a mile and a half to go. Nice day. Supposed to be, I don't know, 63 or so. Partly cloudy. Looks like there are some clouds building. 20% chance of afternoon thunderstorms, so we'll see. And it feels hotter than what it is because I'm hiking, and a lot of this is in the sunlight. So anyway, more to come at the lake. Okay, so this is the outlet of the lower lake. Running pretty good. So trail goes over around, and then we climb up to the lower lake. Short but steep climb up to the lower lake, and then there's another short but steep climb to the upper lake. Well, here we are. A lake in the Pintlers. One of my favorite lakes. Still a few rotten snow patches up here. Yeah. Beautiful day though. It is supposed to be a little breezy up here. I'm a little concerned about that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the trail and make my way around near the inlet. That's where I usually do. All right, I've crossed the inlet. I was the only vehicle at the trailhead, so I didn't expect to see anybody in here. And then on the climb between the lower lake and this lake, I was surprised by a trail runner. So I don't know where he came from. Maybe he was going all the way to the main road. I don't know, but anyway, I've crossed the inlet. Didn't see any trout in the inlet stream, which is a good sign because it's still early up here yet. So I don't see any fish rising or anything like that. So a lot of good campsites here. This lake would be a good place to camp. There's several over here that are really good. This one is probably the best. A nice bench, fire pit, all that. I've been here several times. This, I don't know what this is. But whatever it is, it wasn't here 2 years ago. So this is fairly recent. And then I also have with me my brand new Mystery Ranch Bridger 35-liter day pack that I bought last year. First time I've ever used it. So I'm going to try to do a review of it later. Okay, it's about 11:30. I'm rigged up and ready to go. I'm doing something a little different today here. Usually in this lake I've had really outstanding success with hanging a couple of nymphs or a couple of chironomids under an indicator. But today I'm gonna go with straight line nymphing, which I haven't done in this lake before, so it'll be interesting. So I've got my Orvis Recon 7 weight rigged up. It's got a floating fly line on it. I've also got a you can kind of see it here, maybe. It's got a clear intermediate tip. It's a airflow polyliter. It's the clear intermediate tip, and it's trimmed back to 3.5 feet. And then I've got and the reason I'm doing the sink tip is because there's a little bit of a breeze that's going up and down, and so that'll bed the flies. That'll bed the line down in the water a little bit and keep the breeze-induced waves from jigging the flies around unnaturally. And then what I've got on the point fly is, let's make sure I'm doing this right here. I don't know if I am or not. So there are leeches in this lake. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can focus it a little bit better. There's leeches in this lake. I saw some when I was here last time. So the point fly is it's a Denny's seal bugger. This one is brown with a black hackle wrap around it, and then the dropper. There we go. The dropper right there is a red holographic Nemo Cruncher, which is a soft hackle, kind of a UK thing. Good fly. So in this lake has a really good population of West Slope cutthroats in it. They don't get huge. You'll catch a lot of fish in the 11 to 14 inch range, with the average being about 12 or 13. But I've always done real well here with those. It also has bull trout in it, big ones. I mean, they get up to 30 inches in here. You can't target them, but I usually always see bull trout here. Usually they'll, at least once in every trip here, I'll hook a cutthroat and they'll grab it and try to make off with it. But there are bull trout in here, and then I think there's maybe a few brook trout and a few bull trout, brook trout hybrids. So you can't target the bulls in here. I only hope that leech doesn't entice one to take. Anyway, more to come. Well, I don't know what's going on here. This has been a very slow. This lake is uncharacteristically slow, and I don't know I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if the water temperature, I don't know what's going on, but looks like we've got one here. Our first one. I've had a couple of strikes out here in the inlet, but they've been taking it real softly. So, pretty little boy. That's a pretty West Slope, isn't he? Wow, pretty West Slope. Wow, look at him. Yeah, they're very pretty fish in this lake. They're really pretty fish. They have those. Yeah. They have these bright crimson bellies, and Got to get the fly out of here, and get him on his way, I think. There we go. Very pretty west slope. So this guy, he's about 12 to... Look at how pretty he is. Wow, look at that fish. Wow, beautiful little west slope. Back you go. So I don't know, it may just be too early up here. The water's cold, I can tell that. Yeah, I can tell that. So, like I said, I've had some, and it you know, sometimes in these lakes can be fickle like this, and this lake, you know, I've not only have I never been skunked here, but I've had really fantastic fishing here, just absolutely fantastic. But you know, it very well could be that. Do I have a fly on here, or did I lose it? What happened? Okay. Yeah, okay, I do. What very well can happen, I've seen this before in the early season, is, you know, it's cold, and what can happen here is it can take, you know, these fish may not get active until noon, you know, because of this. So we'll just have to see what happens here. Okay, it's about 12:45. Having some lunch. The fishing is very, very poor. It's slow. Haven't really seen any surface activity. Most of the strikes I've had have been very soft. I've only caught the one fish, and everything's been over here in the inlet. So I don't know what's going on. I think it's I think it's just early up here. I think it's cold, and it's early up here, and I noticed down in the lower lake when I passed by this morning there was more surface activity, and it's probably because, you know, this lake here, the outlet goes and it's warmer, and from the sunlight absorbed in this lake here, so the water's probably a little bit warmer down there. But so I don't know. I think what I'm going to try after lunch is I'm going to maybe switch over to a chironomid and a scud under an indicator, and just see if maybe they prefer a static presentation. We'll go from there, and I don't know, we'll see. And then if that doesn't work, well, I'll just probably head out. Okay. I bought this last fall, I think. For years, I've had an Osprey Kestrel 38 that's been my day pack for probably almost 15 years. I think I got it in like 2010, 2011, something like that, and it's been all over the place with me, and it's starting to show its age and starting to develop a few tears. So I bought this. I'm a big fan of Mystery Ranch products, of their packs. I have two of their Expedition Series Glacier packs, and I bought this. This is the Bridger. This is the 35-liter version of the Bridger, and this is the first time I've used it, and so this is an unofficial review. I'm not affiliated with anybody, Mystery Ranch or anybody else. I'm just kind of doing this as the honest part of being a gearhead, and I'll tell you about the pack and what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So what's interesting about this pack is how it opens. most packs will have just the top load. Most day packs will have the top load. This has this has kind of a butterfly type set of zippers, and so it actually opens down both sides like this, and just like this. And it's nice. It makes it very, very easy to load. It's spacious. Like I said, it's a 35 liter. I considered getting a 45 liter, but I figured since my my Osprey was a 38 liter, that this would work. So I'll tell you some things I like and some things I don't like. First, the things I don't like, and you can kind of see one of them right here, and that is the buckles, the compression buckles on the sides here. They interfere with the zipping and unzipping. That's a minor thing, but it is an annoyance when you're, because it happens almost, you can see that right there. That happens almost every time, and it's not a big deal. It's certainly not a showstopper. The other thing about the pack that I don't like is the width. So, I use these for fishing trips and day hike fishing trips, and I often bring my waders and my wading boots. And the problem that this pack has is it's narrow. It's not quite wide enough down here at the bottom to where I can put my wading boots flush in there. There's a little bit of a space that's left down here, so I can't, I can't get the bottoms of my wading boots in there flush, and so it kind of makes it kind of a challenge to pack. I think all day packs in this size area, regardless of brand, they're going to be kind of similar, but my Osprey, it had just enough room to where I could get them in there and sit them on the bottom of the pack. Not a big deal, just kind of an annoyance. The other thing that I don't like about the pack are the water bottle holders here, the pockets. They're basically almost useless. It's almost impossible for me to be able to get a water bottle, to get the smart water bottle in and out of those pockets when I'm hiking. I have to take off the pack, and it's kind of made worse because I'll have the toe of one of my wading boots sticking out there, and if I can get it out, I can't put it back in. I have to have two hands to do that. This was also kind of an issue on my Osprey Kestrel, but if I got it just right, I could get the water bottle in and out. You can actually fit the water bottle in here on your shoulder straps, and I did that this morning, and that works. The only issue is this piece here, right here with the water bottle, it kind of, you feel it, you feel the pressure and the edge against your chest. So it's a decent workaround, not an ideal workaround. Now, that's what I just told you is what I don't like about the pack, and none of those are showstoppers for me, and to some degree, with the exception of the butterfly zippers, because nobody else has that. None of these are a showstopper, and I've seen them with other day packs. What I do like about now, here's what I do like about the pack. First of all, if you look at the materials, one of the things about Mystery Ranch packs is that they're made with heavier materials, and I don't know, I'm not sure if this is 400D or 500D. It could maybe even be 300D. I don't know, but I do know it's heavier. It's heavier than what's on my Kestrel, and The good news is, because of the heavier materials, that if the pack works for you, if the day pack works for you, it's probably the last one you'll ever have to buy, because because of the heavier materials, it'll last longer. The stitching will be harder to loosen. It won't loosen up as easy. So that's one thing that is common to all their packs, is their choice of materials. Generally, you don't buy a Mystery Ranch pack if you're an ultralighter. How does the pack carry? Well, I'm going to tell you, it carries exceptionally well. Very, very well. My Osprey Kestrel carried well, but it had a tendency with a full load in it to kind of sag a little bit, and I'd feel a little bit of the weight on my shoulders. This pack, this day pack, it carries wonderfully, and that's kind of one of the things that they're known for, is their packs carry very well, and their expedition packs in particular can carry extreme loads. Now, yeah, this pack, it carries like a dream. The other thing that's interesting about this pack, and I don't completely understand it, it may be the shape of the yoke here, but it seems, I noticed it this morning, it seems to mold to your back, similar to how an Osprey pack is. And what that tends to do, it holds it close to your back, and you don't have to counterbalance by leaning forward. You can basically walk in a normal manner with this pack. It's very good. If you're carrying a heavy day pack, and the load in it, I had it stuffed, and I've got wading boots and waders and a jacket and all that good stuff, fishing gear, lunch. And I don't know how much it weighed, 15-20 pounds, but this pack, it didn't feel like I was carrying that much. Now, the other thing that all their packs have is their expedition packs, their day packs. They have their yokes have an adjustable torso length. And I don't remember. Yeah, this is a small medium. When I bought the pack, I bought it with the other yoke, which is a medium large. So I have both. But these, there's basically a piece of Velcro. There's Velcro here, and then you pull this piece out, which is used as part of the frame, and you break the Velcro bond there, and then what you can do is you can pull the yoke up, pull the yoke down, and you can adjust it to your torso length, and you can really dial it in. And now I'm going to tell you that there are a lot of people out there on the internet that they think this is a gimmick, and of course I have three of these. I have 3 Mystery Ranch packs. And I mess with the torso adjustment. I've fiddled with it a lot on all 3 of the packs, and that's one of the reasons this pack carries so well, is because I've got the torso adjustment really dialed in on it. Yeah, this does work. So yeah, people that think it's a gimmick, no, it's there, and it works for a reason. And if it didn't work, there's other pack manufacturers that are kind of copying this, and that kind of just testifies to the fact that it does work. The interesting thing about this pack that I find very interesting is the lumbar area. There's not much of a lumbar area. There's basically 2 pads, but it's almost flush with the hip belt there. And I find that interesting because there's a lot of, this pack carries very well. I don't have any of the weight on my shoulder, so it's transferring the load well. But there's kind of a debate amongst pack manufacturers about whether you need a lumbar pad or not. Some feel that with a pronounced lumbar pad, it pulls these corners
prevents these corners here, these back corners, from engaging the top corners of the back side of your hips. And in fact, there are some packs out there, some of the Gregory's in particular. They really don't have much of a lumbar pad, and the theory is that without a pronounced lumbar pad, you can get better contact on the back part of your iliac crest from this part of the hip belt. So interesting. I just noticed it. It's interesting because my two Glacier packs both have a pretty pronounced lumbar pad, and I've had problems with one of them slipping down my back, and and whether it works or not, the debate goes on, but it probably, I'm pretty sure it's related to your body type. With people that are slimmer, having a lot better to get the hip belt to engage the top of your hip bones. So anyway, again, this is not I'm not affiliated with Mystery Ranch or anybody else. I just thought I'd give you my 2 cents on this. It's a nice pack. It carries very well. Wish it was just slightly wider, but it works for what I want to do. I do like these pockets. I haven't used these side pockets yet, and maybe I should. But anyway, good pack if you like Mystery Ranch packs, as I do. Yeah, they're expensive, but you'll never have to buy another one. The bad news is that I think Yeti bought them, and I believe here this year or next year they're going to stop. They're going to stop marketing outdoor recreational packs for people. So I guess it's a good thing I caught it when I did, along with my other two. So anyway, that's my little review of the Mystery Ranch Bridger 35.
All right, it's 3:10 in the afternoon, Saturday, June 14th. Pack's loaded up. I'm ready to head out. Tough day up here. Now I'm seeing some fish start rising. I just think it's too cold. I didn't have any takes. I fished a couple of nymphs under a strike indicator, and I had nothing. Now I'm seeing some rises out here, though. And that kind of makes sense. This is kind of the warmest part of the day. I just think it's too early up here. I think there's a lot of flow coming in on the inlet stream here. And even though this lake is not overly high, I think it's like 76 or 7,700. The water, it's a cold lake, and it holds its temperature very well over the summer. That's why it is so good to fish throughout the summer. But my guess is give this thing another 2 or 3 weeks, and it'll be its normal self. It's normal self. In terms of action, it's one of the best lakes I've fished up here in Montana, and that's kind of saying a lot. So anyway, departing shot.